أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I hope you can see me now. The live broadcast has started, and inshallah we'll begin the class very shortly. Please bear with us. Okay, good. Assalamu alaikum again. How is everybody doing? Welcome to your first class. Really excited to have all of you here. I hope you can hear me and you can see me. And if you can see me, everything is okay. Please use the chat box, I think on this side of the video, is it? There's a live chat box. Give me one. Type one if you can see me, if everything is okay. Just give me one. So this is where you will ask all the questions, we'll interact, and inshallah, I'll try to answer as much as I can and the questions that you have. So please tell me if you can see me and hear me okay. Very good. Thank you, Talha, for that. Anyone else, please do give me one. Thank you, Zaman, Basit Zaman. Thank you very much for that. I can see that. So people will join. There are a lot of people who have enrolled for this course. Some people will attend live. Some people will take recordings. We don't know how much strength it's going to be to begin with. Inshallah, as we go along in the class, we'll know more how people are going to join. But it's very, very good that you guys joined. And I can see the viewers are increasing every single time. So inshallah, we'll start the class very, very soon. Before I start the class, I wanted to establish this context of what you're jumping into, so you know what you're doing. And once you know what you're doing, then inshallah you will have a better context, and probably you can see where you are today and where you want to go going forward, inshallah. So that's a view and perspective you need to establish for yourselves. And this is your first step. If you have learned Arabic, and in specific the Quranic Arabic before, so it's a good thing that you're jumping in again and starting to revise it. If you haven't learned it before, it's again a good thing, because then this is your first step that you're jumping into it. And this will inshallah take you to a lot closer to the Quran, and you will also start to decode things. And after the first class, inshallah, I'll just dive into the Quran. I'll see and show you what you know now that you didn't know before, just after the first lesson. And you will see that, change coming in, inshallah. So stay tuned, don't give up, and stay tuned for the class. So how the class is going to run. So I have shared with you a lot of content. There were some email exchanges. There's a WhatsApp group that you know. And all of this is going to be very, very interactive session. So the content that I've shared with you, the full pack that we have, that's from Bayina. So we wrote to Bayina about using that pack to teach this lesson, to teach this course. And Bayina gave us this permission to teach the course. So we're going to cover that course, inshallah, the Bayina curriculum. And when we finish the Bayina curriculum, this is where our own curriculum will start. In the middle, we may fill some gaps with our own notes that we will share with you, inshallah, as we keep on going. So that's what we want to do. So what you might want to do is print that out. If you're not a digital person, if you don't like taking notes digitally, you might want to print that out and bring into the class, because it's always good to take some notes on it directly. We will not go page by page. I would not ask you to just take a look at the course content all the time. I will teach you things in the class, and then when I ask you to move to the course content, then we'll move to the course content, inshallah. If you just start to read it from page 1 to the last page, you will get many things, but you will also get confused, because the structure may be a different structure based on what we're going to teach you here. So just bear with me, listen to me, and as I guide you to this course, inshallah, we'll move into that content. We'll use that content as much as we can, and we practice on it. We'll understand everything that's over there. But first, let's start the class with us only, without the content. Don't try to go ahead of the class and read ahead, because that will confuse you. So please stay with the class. And if you have any questions, this is the chat box. You can write your questions too. And it will be in front of me, and I will be able to answer your questions, hopefully. Okay. So if we are all set here, so what I will do now is this was about the course content. The second thing I want to tell you here is how this course is going to run. So I will usually come online like that, the way you see, and there's going to be a chat box here. It's on this side, I guess. So it's very disorienting for me to tell you it. Okay, it's probably on this side. So so you're going to use this chat box to write in any questions. Okay, you can use this chat box to trigger any questions, respond to someone, what normal live chat would look like. However, this chat box should not distract you from the lesson. So students tend to chat with each other when they see the chat box. So you can do that, of course, as far as it's in the context of the course. So my advice would be to just stay focused on the lesson and stay focused on the course-related communication on this chat box and not anything beyond it. That will really help you. I will also share my screen with you. When I share my screen with you, I will use Microsoft Word as my whiteboard. You can call it that way. So we'll type on it, we'll write Arabic and English on it, and we'll do some notes exercise, and I'll explain you things on it, and you'll get used to it, inshallah, going forward. I also have a screen sharing with a tablet on, which means that I will scribble things on my tablet on your notes directly, or something that I want to explain you directly on the tablet. You will also see that, and I will show all of that to you just now, just to establish this context. It's all digital. Everything that I do here, you should be able to see on your screens. Okay. The only prerequisite for this course, is that you are able to read the Arabic language. You're able to read the Arabic language. If you can read the Quran, you're good. Okay. If you're not able to write Arabic, you can still write Roman Arabic. I mean, the Arabic in English, but it's better to always learn to write Arabic. It will always help you. But the main prerequisite is to read. So the assumption would be that you can read anyway, and we'll start with the Arabic lesson. Okay, that's something you all need to know, and I hope that you all can read. And based on your submissions and registrations, we know that the vast majority of you can already read the Arabic language, which is very, very good. Okay, we will also not talk about spoken Arabic. We will not talk about Arabic listening comprehension. This is not about that. This course is about purely Quranic Arabic. So we're going to dive into the Quranic Arabic specifically. It's not focused on teaching you how to speak or how to understand when someone speaks or how to understand when the Quran is being recited. Not yet. It's not there yet. So it's about comprehending, decoding what's written in front of you. So it's important that you are able to see visually the Arabic in front of you, so you can actually decode it, break it down piece by piece, understand what each word means, and inshallah, slowly and steadily will grow, and there will come a time where you will be able to understand it a lot better. Okay, don't expect all of that to come in one course. So you're effectively spending about 22, 23 weeks on this course, which is about 33 hours of learning. 33 hours of learning, to give you perspective, is roughly 1.5 days of your life. Okay, 24 hours plus some additional. 36 hours is about 1.5 days of your life, right? So you can't you can't be an expert in full-blown Arabic language by spending 1.5 days of your life. You just can't. Okay, so just don't raise that expectation. Just come with the expectation that I want to dive into the Quran. I want to see what's written in the Quran. I cannot do anything without looking at Arabic, because I really need to look at the Arabic language, and then I will be able to decode a few things. That's how we will go about this course, and that's your first step. Okay. Students also tend to dive quickly on the meanings of the words. What does this mean, and what does that mean? That's important, but that will come later on. Don't worry about the meaning too much, because today you want to understand how the Quran is structured in terms of language. You cannot understand the meaning until you understand the structure. Okay, so you need to understand the structure, the purpose of the words, what type of words, and things like that. And then meanings will come slowly. In this course, meanings will come, absolutely, but not probably from day one. So day one is not going to be about meanings. So don't worry about meanings. Don't ask me what does this word mean or that one mean. This is not important right now. Okay. Right now is what is important, that you get a full crux of how Arabic is structured and how you can decode the Quran. And later on, we will learn to use dictionaries and we'll develop the vocabularies that will help you completely find the meanings. So when I did the course, after 8 months, 8 months of my studies, 8 months of my studies, where every week was about 3 classes, I was able to then translate the entire surah as a project of the course. But inshallah, here we will do it much faster. You'll be able to translate bits and pieces with guidance, but we'll get there, but not in the first go. Okay. So any questions so far? Anything popping up in your mind so far? Please write that on the chat, and I will try to answer it before we kickstart with the class. Do anyone of you, anyone here who does not have the course notes that I sent around, the course content? Did you get the course content? If you got the course content, please give me one. Give me one on the chat box. If you got the course content, please give me one on the chat box. So I'm waiting for ones to come on the chat box. So I know that you have the course contents with you. Okay? Because that course content is something we'll use to practice quite a lot. And yes, thank you, Talha. I think you got it. Thank you very much. Anyone else got it? So I'm assuming everyone got it, unless you tell me that you haven't got it. So it should be. Okay. Jamilat, you didn't get it. Did you get the email? Did you get the welcome email from us with all the details? Did you get the welcome email? It was part of the welcome email. So please write to us. Let me write down an email address. Those of you who did not get the content, please write to us on this email address that I'm writing now. Okay. Please write to us on this email address, info@Albayaan.Online, and inshallah, I will send you the course content. So if you got the welcome email, there's a link in the welcome email that you click and download the content. So if you don't have it, please do write us an email on this email address, and I will send it to you directly. Okay. You also know there's a WhatsApp group. You can join that WhatsApp group. It's not an obligation, of course. It's up to you. And it's a good channel to connect with other students and ask questions, learn together. If you have any questions, I like to call it 24/7 Quranic Arabic support. So it's always good to have some place to go to clarify something all the time, because we have international community. We have students joining from Malaysia, US, India, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, Europe, UK, many other places, and Middle East. So there's always someone awake to answer your questions. So it's a good community that we probably want to develop here. Okay. Good. So I also need to tell you about one thing, which is myself. I don't know how many of you attended the live Q&A session. We had a live Q&A session on the May 6th, where we answered many questions, and I introduced a lot detail about Albayaan itself and also the course. But here I'm not going to go into that level of detail. The recording is available there. You can go and watch. So you will be taught by me. My name is Fahad Ijaz, and I'm a student of Bayyina Institute, Numan Ali Khan's Institute, and I've graduated with Access 3 certification from Bayyina, and I'm going to be teaching you this course. This is not the first time I'm teaching the level 1. It's the second course that I'm teaching, and I'm also teaching. I have also finished teaching the level 2 course, and I'm preparing to start the level 3 course. And I have some good friend of mine also who teach the same thing, and also they're also graduates from Bayyina Institute. One of them is Salman Hassan Siddiqui. He's a very good friend of mine, and he also has the same qualification, perhaps better than me. And he also teaches these courses. He's currently teaching Quranic Arabic level 3. So we have a team, and then we have another friend of ours, which is Fateh Ali Malik. He's a very passionate student of ours, and he's one of the first students we had at Albayaan, and now, mashallah, he's level 3 student, and he's a very big help for us in this entire activity. Good. So I hope you have all the context now. I will start the class now, inshallah, and share my screen with you, and then we take it from there. If you have questions, please write them down, and inshallah I'll try to answer as much as I can. Okay. Good. And I will keep on asking you to tell me if you see my screen. Let me share my screen with you, and then we take it from there, inshallah. Okay. So if you see my screen, as soon as you see my screen, please do tell me that you see my screen, so I can be sure that you are able to view what I'm viewing here. So your chat box is on the on one side, and there's a Word document on this side. So this is where we'll start, inshallah, and inshallah we'll start to study the course. Good. Again, the trick is, remember, the trick is when you see what I'm asking you, if you see it or not, you give me 1. Okay, 1 means yes. So how many of you see the screen? Give me 1. Give me 1 in the chat box. Do you see the screen? Give me 1. Good. Alhamdulillah. Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. You can see that. Good. Let's start. So Quranic Arabic. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So welcome to the Quranic Arabic course. So what we're going to do is learn Quranic Arabic, which is one of the very, very lovely languages. It's very, very rich languages. I think one of the richest languages I've found so far. Once you start really learning this language, you just don't want to stop, and you just don't want to go and learn more. It's very, very mathematical. So we will be learning Quranic Arabic. Okay, Quranic Arabic. So we need to understand what are the general topics in Quranic Arabic. Okay, general topics in Quranic Arabic. So I'm going to give you this summary first, so you know what you're diving into, and we have full context of what we're going to study. Okay, so Quranic Arabic generally is broken into few categories. It's broken into few categories. Is the font big enough for you? Give me 1 if the font is big enough for you. Do you want me to enlarge the font? Let me just enlarge the font a bit. Okay. Good. Okay, so general topics in Quranic Arabic. So one of the topics in Quranic Arabic is the grammar, study of the grammar, Arabic grammar, okay, which you would expect, Arabic grammar. I'm not going to give you too much terminology, but I'll start to tell you slowly. I will keep it to English so it's easy to understand, but where it's necessary, I'm going to give you terminology, okay? And please tell me if you have questions, if something is getting confusing, or if you think we are going a bit faster. Please do tell me in the chat box. I have this chat box in front of me as well. Okay, good. So Quranic Arabic. In Arabic, this Quranic Arabic is called Nahu. What is it called? Nahu. It's called Nahu. Okay, it's called Nahu studies. It's the Quranic Arabic grammar studies. Okay. There's another study which is called the word morphology. Word morphology. Word morphology. This word morphology study is called Sarf. Okay, called Sarf. Don't worry about remembering them right now. I'm just telling you. Just take it as I tell you. Okay, just take it as I tell you. This word morphology means Sarf. Okay, it's called Sarf in Arabic language. Then there is a study called rhetorical studies. Rhetorical studies. Okay, rhetorical studies. Okay, and then there's a 4th study which is called coherence. Coherence studies. Okay. There are many studies. I'm just giving you a very, very high level, cream on the cake level of studies. Okay, what we are doing right now is the Quranic Arabic grammar. This is what we are doing. Okay, this one is what we are doing. We're not jumping into the last. We're not jumping into the last 3. We're doing Quranic Arabic grammar. Now, when I say grammar, people usually say, "Oh, grammar, it's boring." But you just stay with me on this, okay? We'll start with this grammar. It's a very interesting mathematical grammar. Arabic is a very, very structural language, and you will really like it. But I did mention in the live Q&A that you have to bear with me for first few classes, because in the first few classes you will understand many things, but you will not understand why you are doing this. Okay, just bear with me on that. Just stay with me, understand what I'm telling you. Don't try to rush and ask why we are doing it, because after 5-6 classes, once we have done that, everything will start to come together. So be patient with me on that. Okay, just focus on learning what I'm telling you, and that will really inshallah help you. So in the in the Arabic grammar, we will learn the fundamentals, and we'll literally start with the fundamentals. Okay, and Nahu, effectively, fundamentals. Nahu is a study of how words come together. How words come together. Fundamentals of how words come together. Okay? Let me give you an example. Okay. Let me give you an example. How words come together. Meaning, if I say, for example, if I say Muhammad is a good man. Muhammad is a good man, right? So how many words am I looking at it right now? How many words am I looking at right now? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 words, right? What I'm looking at is a sentence which is very, very nicely structured. Let me just restructure it. I say, man, good, Muhammad is a. Okay, same words, but completely shuffled. Same words, but completely shuffled. Does the second one make sense? Does the second one make sense? Give me 1 if you think yes. Give me 2 if you think no. Give me 1 if you think yes. Give me 2 if you think no. Okay? What we are effectively doing here is we're not looking at Muhammad as an individual word, is as an individual word, as an individual word, good as an individual word, or a man as an individual word. We're not looking at how these words are constructed. Yes, very good. It doesn't make sense. This sentence down here does not make sense. It just does not make sense. This is wrong. This is wrong. Does not make sense. Right? This is wrong. Although the usage of words is same. It's the same word. So the Nahu is a study of how words come together and make sense. That's the study we're going to do. And for that, we need to study some types of words in Arabic language. And then we have to study how they come together, they make sense out of it, right? So that's the study of Nahu, effectively. While we do this study of Nahu, what we'll also do is start to do the analysis, the grammatical analysis. We will do grammatical analysis. And this grammatical analysis in Arabic is called i'rabs. You don't need to remember these terminologies. I'm telling you again, okay? Just don't worry about it. I'm just giving you this so you know. It's called i'rab, okay? It starts with it. Grammatical analysis, meaning if I give what we just did, I gave you a sentence saying Muhammad is a good man. Then I ask you, man, good, Muhammad is a. These are 2 sentences. Can you analyze? Can you analyze these sentences? You take the first one and you say, okay, Muhammad is a person. Yes, it's a name. It's a noun. I'm assuming you know the noun verbs and adjectives and so on. It's a noun. Good is also, let's say, it's an adjective. Man is a noun, and so on. All of what effectively you're doing is analyzing how the sentence is constructed. And you're analyzing the positioning of is, positioning of a, and types of word used. This is called i'rab. We will do that with the Quran. We'll take an ayah of the Quran and we'll try to decode how this ayah is structured. Okay? And we'll dive into it, and it will give you a lot of beauty coming out of the Quran. You will understand a lot of things, how the structure of the Quran can simply create emphasis in many things. Okay? And when we go along the way, we'll build some vocabulary. We'll build vocabulary. Okay? on the way. We'll build vocabulary on the way. This is what we're going to do in Arabic. In the end of this course, at the end of this course, completely, you will have a final project. You will have a final project, and this project is going to be a set of surahs that I will give you, and you will do an independent grammatical analysis of those surahs, and you will be able to see how the structure of the surah is, and how the sentences are being made, how the words are being used with each other, and so on. It will open up so much Quran for you, inshallah. Oh, a lot of Quran for you. Okay, so that's the crux of what we're going to do in this course. We will do, on the other hand, so the other part of the study is word morphology. This is more focused on the Quranic Arabic 2 level. This is what you're going to do after this course in more details, but we will touch some aspects of word morphology. Let me write it here. Some aspects of word morphology. Okay. Some aspects of word morphology. We're going to touch, for example, let me give you an example. Okay. So if I tell you there's a word called educate, and then there's a word called education, and then there's a word called educator. Okay? It's one word. It's one word completely constructed differently in different forms. It's effectively coming from the same root letters, right? It's coming from the same root letters, but it's constructed completely differently. So let me give you an Arabic example. Okay? Arabic example. So I can say, for example, I say Muslimun. Say Muslimun. Then I can say, let's say, Muslimani. I can say Muslimuna. Okay. Muslimuna. These are similar words. They belong to the same root letter family, right? But they're constructed differently. And how these words are actually differentiated, how they come together, what each of these words mean in terms of what difference this word brings, actually, that's what we're going to do in this course as well. Okay, so you will understand the differences in these things. Right, so that's the aspect of word morphology. You see, we're not looking at the words around it. We're just looking at a single word. We're looking at a Muslimani, we're looking at Muslimuna, but we're not looking at the full-blown sentence or a phrase. So it's not about understanding how words come together. It's more about understanding how words are formed. Okay, so that's word morphology. And word morphology is something we're going to do in level 2 in a lot of detail. I'm not going to go into detailed content here. I'm just giving you a high-level view of what morphology is. Then there's rhetorical studies. Rhetorical studies is more about understanding the wisdom behind the usage of words. For example, if Allah uses a past tense and not the present tense, what's the reason? If Allah uses a passive and not the active form, what's the reason? Okay. How does it change the wisdom behind the ayah? If Allah swaps the terminology, if Allah swaps the structure of the word, what's the reason behind it? What's the reason behind it? That's rhetorical studies. That's an advanced level of study. We will, inshallah, go there someday, but today not. It's to stick with the Arabic grammar. And coherence study is another very, very interesting field in the Quranic Arabic studies. It tells you how the different surahs and different ayahs are related together. How different surahs and ayahs are related together. Sometimes you read the Quran, and if you read the translation, you would realize that one topic is being talked about, and all of a sudden, there's absolutely different topic that has started, that you just can't connect. Why all of a sudden such a switch? And that study is the coherence in the Quran. So how would you understand that different ayahs are connected to each other? Okay? That's the study of coherence. But this is a very advanced level of studies that inshallah sometime you can do in the future. But right now we're focused on the Arabic grammar. Are we clear with the Arabic grammar thing? Any questions? Anything that is popping up before I jump into the course itself? Okay, so if you have questions, please do write them, and inshallah, I'll try to answer them. Okay, so let's start the class, inshallah. So let me go to the next page, and we'll start the class in the next page. Whatever I'm making here, all these notes that you see on the Word document, you don't have to do it. Just listen. I will send everything to you by email. Okay, everything will be available to you via the shared drive that we have. And inshallah, I will send you an email when it's ready, and then you can go and download it from there. So everything will be available to you. So you just have to listen and understand instead of taking all these notes. Don't try to write all of this down. Okay, just stay with me on this. Good. So let's start with the study of Nahu. The study of Nahu. Not the Arabic. Wait a second. Okay. The study of Nahu. The study of Nahu. In English like this, in Arabic like this. Nahu. Okay. Now, in Arabic language, there are only 3 types of words. There are only 3 kinds of words in Arabic language. I would request you to not look at your notes right now, just listen to me, okay? And we'll jump to the notes, inshallah, when we have the context. Just listen to me for now, okay? There are only 3 types of words in Arabic language. How many? There are, let me write it here so you know. There are only 3 kinds of words in Arabic language. Arabic language, okay? Only 3 kinds. Do is learn the 3 kinds of words. All you need to do is learn the 3 kinds of words, and then we talk about how they come together. Okay, this entire course will teach you these 3 kinds of words and how they come together. Okay, the first kind is called an ism. It's called an ism. You may know this from your language. If you're, for example, Urdu speaker, you may already know this. Okay, ism. So ism is written like this. Okay, ism. Ism. Okay, we'll go there what it means, but just take the term with me for now. Just take the terminology with me. The first is the ism. Okay, and what is an ism? Do you know the noun in English? Do you know noun in English? If you know nouns in English, can you give me a 1? Can you give me a 1 if you know noun in English? Is noun an alien concept to you? Have you ever studied nouns in English? If you're listening to this lecture, it means you understand English. And if you understand English, so most likely you understand nouns. You understand what they mean and what they are, right? So I will tell you what ism is, but inshallah, I want you to know if you already know something about nouns, okay? All right, thank you, Tala, I can see that. So ism is the first kind of word that we have in Arabic language. The other word is called the fi'l. It's called the fi'l. You may already know this if you know Urdu. If you know Urdu, but if you're coming from a different language, this may be something new to you. But don't worry, inshallah, it will become clear. Okay. So the second category is the fi'l. Fi'l. What are they? I'm going to tell you. I'm just giving you a list first. I want to give you a list of 3 types of words. Okay, the first one is ism, the second one is fi'l, and the third one is harf. The third one is harf. Okay. Wait a second. Harf. Okay. So first one is ism, the second one is fi'l, and the third one is harf. In the first phase of the class, in the next 4 to 5 classes or even 6 classes, we will only study ism. We will only study ism. We just study ism. This is the first phase of the class. We're not going to study fi'l or harf. We'll study once in a while. We may touch few things here and there, but primarily we're going to study ism. Ism is one of the major topics in Arabic language. You really need to understand what an ism is. And after today's class, inshallah, I'll jump into the Quran and I'll show you that you already can identify a few things about ism. Okay, so let's look at the definition of this. So what is an ism? What is an ism? Any ideas? Anyone want to give it a shot? Anyone want to tell me what an ism is? What is an ism? Give me something. Give me something. Anything you think ism is? Usually people map it directly to a noun. Yeah, ism is a noun. Ism is a place. Let's construct some examples here. Place, idea, good. Concept, right, good. Yes, name, thing, right. Anything else? Anything else? All of this. That's true. That's true. That's very good. All of this. But this is in Arabic, ism is much bigger than a noun. Ism is much bigger than a noun. Ism is a place, idea, concept, name. It is even adjectives. It is even adjectives, which is an independent concept in English. It's not noun. In English, adjective is not noun. Okay, but in Arabic, adjective is ism. Okay, it is even adverbs. It's even adverbs. It's even pronoun. Okay, and it's a lot more. I'm not going to dive into that a lot more right now. I will just give you this. Okay, it's a name of a person, place, thing. It's a concept, idea, adjective, pronoun, and a lot more. We will know what that a lot more is. Okay, so the message I'm trying to give you here is ism of Arabic is much bigger than the noun of English. Okay? Don't confuse ism with the noun. Don't confuse ism with the noun. Noun is part. For example, in English, place, idea, concept, name, thing. This is all noun. What I'm saying, what I'm making, let's say red here. I'll make it red. These red things are nouns. Okay. But in Arabic, you have adjectives, adverbs, pronoun, and there are a lot of other types of words which are also part of the ism definition. In English, this is not the case. Okay, adjective is treated separately, adverb is treated separately. So ism is much bigger than a noun in Arabic language. Okay, good. Let's take a very quick definition of what is a fi'l. What is a fi'l? What do you think is a fi'l? Go back to your year 2. Go back to your primary education. What do you think is a fi'l? Action, yes. Yes, Harun, that's correct. Fi'l is an action. Exactly. It's a word that has an action, that shows an action. True. Okay. Let me give you an easier definition. It's definitely an action. That's true. It's a word. It's a word that is stuck in time. Okay. Time. And also an action. And it's also an action. Yes. But it's not just an action in Arabic language. Okay. It's not just an action. No. What does that mean? It's a word that is stuck in time. Primarily, this is what I'm telling you. It means it has a tense to it. Fi'l can be in the past, it can be in the present, it can be in the future. Okay? It can be in the future. So it has tense. It could be, for example, when I say it's stuck in time, let me write it here. So you know, it could be past, it could be present, it could be future. Okay? That's a fi'l. And it shows an action. That's true. That's true. But in Arabic language, it not just shows an action, it also embeds doer of an action, which we will study later on, inshallah. For now, just study fi'l as something that is stuck in time, okay? And it shows an action, okay? Now let's compare it with the English verb. I see Harun, you're saying verb. Let's compare it to the English verb, okay? The fi'l of Arabic is bigger than the verb of English. It's bigger, rather much bigger, just like ism. Why is that the case? It's the case because in English, verb is equal to action, isn't it? Verb is equal to action, but in Arabic, fi'l is not just equal to action. Fi'l is equal to action plus the doer of the action. Okay, so let me just tell you here. So in English, verb is equal to action. Action plus time. Yes, this is English. Everyone agrees with me on this? In English, verb is equal to action plus time. In Arabic, fi'l is equal to action plus time plus doer. Action plus time plus doer. Doer of action. Doer of action. Okay. Doer of the action. Okay. So in Arabic, the fi'l is much bigger than the verb. It's much bigger than the verb. In Arabic, the fi'l is a full-blown sentence, but in English it's not. And we'll learn that in this course. We'll learn that in this course when we go forward. Okay. So for now, this is the level of detail you need to know. Okay. Third category, harf. So what is a harf? Anyone remembers what harf is? Or knows what harf is? Any ideas here? Okay, the easier definition of harf is a word that does not make sense, that makes no sense unless another word comes after it. Simplest definition I can give you. Okay? Preposition, yes. But the easiest definition I can give you, it's a word that does not make sense if there's nothing after it. For example, let's construct some example. For example, okay? For example, the article indefinite article of English, for example, an, for example, the, okay, for example, it, on, in, over. If I just write this alone, would it make sense? Would it make sense? No, it won't make sense. However, if I say something, for example, on the table, for example, on the table. For example, let me construct an example better. So if I say, for example, in car, or over the table, or above the ground. Okay. So all of these are harfs. They would not make sense if they're used alone. Okay. They just don't make sense if they're used alone. They need some other word to come and play with them, isn't it? So that's the concept of harf. And you see, you're already doing the nahu here. You're trying to understand how one word is necessary for another one. For example, above the ground. So above is related to the ground here, right? The is related to the ground. So how these words are coming together. Yes, yeah, that's right, Harun. That's right, Harun. Until another word connects them, and until another word comes together and plays with them. So they won't make sense. So three types of words, just three types of words: ism, fi'l, and harf. Ism, fi'l, and harf. Okay. So what we're going to do now here, I'm going to switch to your notes. I will switch to your notes now, and we'll look at your notes. And please give me one when you see the notes on your screen. Okay, when you see the notes on your screen. Okay, you should be able to see now. I usually keep my live streaming in front of me, so I know how is it going along with you. So inshallah, Let me know if everything is clear, if you're going with the right pace. Just keep on listening, inshallah things will become clear. So in your notes, now look at it closely. So there are three kinds of words. We're talking page number what? One. Page number one of your notes. If you don't have your notes, don't worry, I'll send it to you. Inshallah, you can use them to mark your notes. Just take the notes on your copy or whatever diary you're making use of today. Okay. Now, three kinds of words. The first category is ism. It's ism, the name of a person, place, thing, ID, adjective, adverb, or more. We've done that. There's nothing magic about this. It's pretty straightforward. Fi'il is another word, which is a word that has a tense, meaning it is stuck in time, past, present, or future. And it also has an action. We know that. Yes, that's a given. Okay. Harf is a word that doesn't make any sense unless another word comes after it, right? Or connects to it or plays around with it. It doesn't make any sense. Just three kinds of words. Okay. What we're gonna do, what we should do is you should spend time at home just redefining this in your own words. Use this space to redefine these words in your own way. Okay. So I'll give you 1 minute to just think about how you can redefine them in your own way. Just take a minute, just bring everything together in your mind, what we have done. Keep the definitions in front, and just take your notes in front of these three blank boxes. This is what I'm talking about. This is the place I'm talking about. Okay? That's the place I'm talking about. Okay. Take the notes here. Just write whatever will help you remember this. Okay. And just take 1 minute, and inshallah we'll continue in 1 minute. Okay, very good. So give me a one if you have managed to write something down here. If you managed to write something down for yourself, give me a one. Okay, and give me a two if you're struggling with any concept that we have done so far. Give me a two if you're struggling with any concept we have done so far. Okay. Thank you, Harun. I can see a one. Thank you, Talha. I can also see a one. Thank you very much. Anyone struggling here? Don't worry, we're here to learn. So if you're struggling to understand this, tell me. So I'm happy to reiterate a few things, inshallah. And you can always go back and watch the recordings. This lecture will be available to you right after the class, inshallah. And you can, we don't have any ambition to take them down. So they will be available to you lifetime as far as YouTube is alive, to be honest with you. And you can always come back and listen to the lecture as many times as you want. Okay. Good, excellent. Seems like everyone get it. You guys are good, mashallah. Excellent. So now that we have done this, it's pretty simple concept. Let's move down into an exercise. There's an exercise on your notes. And you need to help me solve this exercise. All we need to do is identify what is an ism, what is a fi'il, and what is a harf. Okay? So let's do it one by one. One by one. So number one is for ism, number two is for fi'il, and number three is for harf. Okay. So if you think it's an ism, in fact, just do it differently. Let's do the acronyms here. I means ism, F means fi'il, and H means harf. Okay. I means ism, F means fi'il, and H means harf. Write them down in your notes or in your chat box what you think it is. What is a table? What is a table? Is it an ism, fi'il, or harf? Is it an ism, fi'l or harf? It's an ism, correct. It's an ism. What about the Dallas? What about Dallas? Dallas, it's a name of a place, so it's an ism. Jumps. What is jumps? What about jumps? Ism. Jumps is anyone thinks jumps is a fi'l? Is there anyone who thinks jumps is a fi'l? Harun. Harun thinks jumps is a fail. Anyone else thinks jumps is a fail? So then there's a conflict in the ummah here. Some things it's an ism, some think it's a fail. Yes, and you know why that's happening? Why that's happening? That's happening because it's because the perspective you're looking it into. So if I say jumps as something which is as a thing, if I look at jump as a thing, the plural of that thing would be jumps, like car or cars, right? Car or cars. Just like that, jump or jumps, if you look at it as a thing. But if you look at it as an action, he jumps over the dog, he jumps over the bench, he jumps over the lake, then you would look at it as a fi'l. Okay, it's a perspective, it's the way you're looking at it. Okay, but what we're learning here is it's not one answer here. It could be either ism, or fi'l, depending upon which context it is being used. You with me? Depending upon which context it is being used. So it could be either ism or a fi'l. Okay, if it's a plural of jump as a thing, then it's an ism. If it's an action that you look at it that jumps, then you might want to call it a fi'l, right? So my inclination is more towards ism because I'm looking at it as a thing, as a plural of a thing, like cars. Okay, but there's nothing right or wrong here. It's the analysis that you're doing here, and you're trying to understand if it's an ism or fi'l, and it's equally valid for both cases, depending upon what is the role it is playing in a sentence. Okay, good. From. What is from? From. What is from? I think it's an ism. Is it an ism? Is it an ism? It's a harf. It's a harf. Correct. From is a harf. On. What is on? Let's look at the following ones. On. On is a harf. Correct. What about the we did the right? It's a harf. Correct. At. What is at? Yes, it's a harf again. So many harfs. This exercise is so easy. Cake. What is a cake? It's not a good word to read when you're in Ramadan, when you're fasting. But let's say, let's see if you can give me the right answer. Cake. What is a cake? Is a harf, fi'l, or ism? Yes, it's an ism. It's a thing. It's a name of a thing. What about the country? Country. Country is an ism again. Great. Excellent. You guys are fantastic. MashaAllah. Hey. Cats. Cats. Cats is an ism. I'm going to pace up a little bit here. Cats is an ism. Off. Off is a harf. Harf. Yes? It's pretty clear. Peace. Peace is the idea, right? It's an ism. It's an ism. Slept. What about slept? Anything on the slept? Anything on the slept? It's a fail. It's a fail. It's a past tense, isn't it? It's a past tense. Yes. Freedom. Freedom. It's an ism. Okay. I'll give you 30 seconds to complete this exercise in your notes. Take 30 seconds to complete this exercise in your notes. Time starts now, inshallah. Complete this exercise in your notes, inshallah. Yes, Talha, that's action plus tense. That's true. Very good. Excellent. So have you, let me ask about certain words. Okay. What do you think is loudly? What do you think is loudly? Loudly. What is it? What is loudly in your perspective? It's an ism. That's correct. It's an ism. Okay. If it was English, you would call it, let's say, adverb. Okay. You call it adverb, but in this case, it's an ism, because in the definition of ism, adverbs and adjectives are covered, right? So it shows how the action was performed. Okay. How the action was performed. Okay. He spoke loudly. Okay. In English, you would call it an adverb because it defines an action. But in Arabic, adverb is a part of ism's definition. We just saw that in the beginning of the class. Okay, we saw that in the beginning of the class. Okay, Jamila, it cannot be harf because it could be a command. For example, if you just shout to someone, say loudly. If you're teaching a class and someone is not reading something loudly, and you say loudly, that would mean you're commanding someone. So in that case, it's not going to be harf. It independently makes all the sense, right? So it is not a harf in that case. Same story with soundly. Soundly, everyone agrees it's an ism. Would you agree if it's an ism? It's an ism, soundly as well. Okay. How about smiles? Smiles. What is smiles? Any takes on smiles? It's a fi'l. Okay. Harun, you think it's a fi'l? Okay. Anyone else? Any ideas? Talha, you think it's an ism? Finder Publications, I don't know your name, but you think it's a fi'l? Okay. So there's an ikhtilaf in the ummah again. That's cool. There's a conflict. Okay. So Harun, you also think, Harun Rashid, you think it's a fi'l? Okay. Is this the same case we had for jumps, for example? Is this similar to jumps? The case that we just did for jumps. So if you look at smile as a thing, okay, he has a good smile, for example. That child has a good smile. Okay. If you see the smile as a word, as a thing, then the plural of that thing would be smiles. Yes? In that case, you would say this is an ism. Okay? But if you use it in a sentence to show an action, he smiles every time. He smiles always. He smiles at him. In that case, you would call it a fi'il. Okay, thank you, Radia. Thank you very much for telling me that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget your name again, so I'll keep on asking your names, inshallah. So Radia, okay, thank you. So smiles, you understand? You understand? If you look at it as a thing, then the plural of the thing would be an ism as well, right? But if you look at it as an action, then you would call it a fail, and that's why confusion. That's why some of you think it's an ism, and that's the other ones are thinking it's a fail. Both are correct. It's the way you look at it. Because this word is given to you out of the context, therefore this confusion exists. If it was given to you in a sentence, you would not be confused. You would be completely clear. Okay? So in this case, we would say it's either ism or fi'l. Both of them are fine. Both of them are fine, depending upon how you look at it. Okay? Okay, any other that we wanted to? What is typing? What is typing? Any takes on typing? Yeah, that's a fail. Very good. That's a fail. Excellent. That's a fail. Good. Excellent. Let me just complete this exercise very quickly. Makkah would be an ism. Students would be ism. America would also be ism. Just tally your notes, inshallah. Then you have in, that would be harf. Tall would be an ism. Okay. Tall is an adjective. It defines a noun. For example, the man is tall. Okay, he's a tall man. Okay, so tall is defining the man. For example, Ali is tall. Okay, a tall boy. It's defining the noun. It's defining the noun. But in English, you would call it adjective, which is defining a noun. But in Arabic, because adjective is covered as part of the ism definition, you would call it an ism. Okay. Red is an ism because it's a thing, it's a color. Okay. Mother is an ism. Roller coaster is an ism. Most of them are ism. We need to change the exercise. It's so easy. House is an ism. Okay. You understand? Good, mashallah. That's very good. Excellent. So we've covered very quickly some basic foundations. This is what you already knew, and this is more of kind of a revision that we wanted to do. Okay, so we are on the same page. So we are having good grasp of the basics, very, very fundamentals of the Arabic language, inshallah. So I'll go back to my notes in the Word document, and we'll study further things here. Okay. Now, from this point on, now that you understand there are 3 types of word, and you can differentiate in these types of words in English language. In English, you can really differentiate if this is an English, if this is an ism or a fi'l or a harf. But we do need to start to understand how we differentiate them in Arabic, okay? Because that's the ultimate objective. For that, what we're going to do, we're going to pick up the first topic, ism. From this point on, we'll start the study of isms. We'll park fi'ls and harf for later, okay? And we'll touch them as they come. And once we are done with ism studies, we'll jump into fi'l and harf studies. I think harf is going to come here and there during the ism studies as well. But effectively, the starting point from today onwards would be ism studies. So let's start with ism studies, inshallah. And this is a very interesting study, and you have to bear with me and stay with me. Don't give up. It's easy, but it takes some concentration as well, and it takes some practice as well all the time. Okay, so let's start with the study of ism, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Study of isms. We're going to study of isms. Study of ism. Okay. Now, don't go to your notes. Just stay with me. Okay. Don't go to your notes. Just stay with me here. Okay. There are 4 properties of any ism. Any ism that you see in Arabic language. Now, I'm talking Arabic language here. I'm not talking English language or Urdu language. I'm not talking noun of English or ism of Urdu. I'm talking Arabic language. Okay. There are 4 properties of an ism. There are 4 properties of an ism. And I'm going to give you those names, 4 names. Okay. I'm going to give you those 4 names here. Okay. The first property is called the status. We'll know what each of them means. Yes. One by one. It's the status. Every ism has a status. Okay. Status tells me what role an ism plays in a sentence. What role an ism plays in a sentence. This will become clear when we do exercises. Okay. But just bear with me. There are 4 properties of an ism. First one is status. It's the status of an ism. Okay? The second one is number. The number of an ism. Okay? I'm not going to go into number yet. Okay? I'll just give you the terminology. The status that tells us what role an ism plays in a sentence. Okay? Then there's number. Gender is the third one. Every ism has a gender to it. Okay, is it a masculine, feminine, or and so on. Okay, and type. Status, number, gender, type. Status, number, gender, type. Now I'm going to ask you to do something. If your kids or friends or family or whoever is around you, don't worry about them. Just say status, number, gender, type loudly 5 times with me, please. Status, number, gender, type. Status, number, gender, type. Status, number, gender, type. Status, number, gender, type. One last time. Status, number, gender, type. Okay? Good. Good. Who can write these things on the chat box without looking at the notes? What are the 4 properties of any ism? Can you write these 4 things here? Can you write 4 things in the chat box? And be honest with yourself. Write them without looking at your notes. Okay? What are the 4 properties of any ism? You don't understand those properties yet? You don't know what is a status? Yes, Stella, thank you very much. Status, number, genotype. Great, excellent. Status, number, genotype. Thank you, Harun. I see that. Status, number, thank you, Harun Rashid again. Status, number, genotype. Correct. Yes, Jamilat. Yes, Radhia, if I remember your name correct. Yes, yes, Radhia, that's correct. Status, number, genotype. Status, number, genotype. What we will do as part of our ISM studies, we'll go to each of these properties and we'll drill it down completely. We'll try to understand ins and outs of these properties. And this is your entire ISM study. And these properties will completely change the way you look at the Quran. Okay? You look at the Quran. So we will slowly learn these over the period of next 5 to 6 classes. All of this ISM studies. So bear with me. You will study a lot of stuff, but you will start to feel as if, oh, why I'm studying this? How can I map it to the Quran? How does it make sense? Sometimes you may feel like that, but just bear with me. Okay? I can't tell you how to do whatever 5 plus 1 if you don't know how to count from 1 to 10, right? So I need to first tell you how to count from 1 to 10, and then we'll inshallah go into complexity as well. Thank you, Sharani. Thank you very much. Jazakallah. Status, number, gender, type. So we're good at this, okay? Status, number, gender, and type. Good. Now, what we did, we first took 3 kinds of words. We said there are 3 kinds of words: ism, fi'l, and harf. Then we took ism, okay? Then we took ism and we said in ism there are 4 properties: status, number, gender, type. Now what I'm doing is, thank you, Imran, thank you. And what I'm doing now is I'm picking up status. I'm going to pick up status, okay? I'm picking up status and I'm going to dive into the status a bit, okay? So bear with me on this. One by one, we're picking every property and we're diving into the status, okay? Let me move to the next page with you. Status of an ism. Status of an ism. Okay, this is what we will study. Start the study today. And status will take some time to understand and study and practice. But inshallah, after studying the status, you will feel a lot confident about what you know already about the Quran and the language of the Quran, inshallah. Okay. So just to give you a visual aid, I want to, before I start the status thing, I want to make sure that you are completely okay with the structure we have made here. So let me go to my other screen, and I'm going to share with you how we have structured this so far. Okay. So what we have done so far is, let me zoom in here. Okay. We have said there are 3 types of words. Okay. There are 3 types of words. 3 types. Wait a second. Cancel. Okay. Said 3 types of words. Okay. That's what we have said. There are 3 types of word. And under 3 types of word, we said the first one is ism. The second one is the fi'l. Okay. And the third one is the harf. Okay. That's what we said. Yes? Everyone with me? This is what we said. Then we picked up the ism. And it said ism has 4 properties. Ism further has 4 properties. And that is status, that is number, that is gender, Understand my writing, please. You have to live with this. Okay? Type. It has 4 properties. Okay? ISM has 4 properties. And now what we are doing, we're picking up status and we're diving into the status. This is what we are doing now. Okay? This is what we are doing now. Okay? Everyone clear with this flow? Everyone clear with the hierarchy, how we are managing it? Give me a 1 if you're fine. Give me 2 if you're not fine. Give me 1 if you're fine. Give me 2 if you're not fine. Okay, if there's any confusion, please tell me, because this has to be very, very clear in your mind before I move forward and give you more. Okay? Okay, good, mashallah. Very good, excellent, excellent. 3 types of words, ism, and then status. That's excellent. Thank you, everyone. Okay, great, excellent. Seems like you guys are good students, mashallah. I was a worse student in this. I had so much time that I had to invest to understand this. Excellent, very good. So very happy, good. So we're studying the status of an ism, and we are forgetting about the fi'il for now. We're forgetting about the harf for now, and we're also forgetting for a temporary time this number, gender, and type as well. Okay, we're studying the status. Now, there are 3 types of status. There are 3 types of status of an ism. Any ism, an ism has 3 types of status. Let me just rephrase it. Ism can be in 3 status. Okay? Ism can be in 3 statuses. Okay. First one, ism can be a doer. Ism can be a doer of an action. Okay. It can be a doer of an action. Okay. Just understand that with me. Ism can be a doer of an action. I'll give you some examples in a minute. Okay. Doer of an action. Okay. Ism can be a detail about the action. Okay. And ism can be any word that comes after the word of. Don't get confused if you don't understand this. I'll give you some examples. Okay, we'll do that inshallah. So ism, the status of an ism can be of 3 types. Ism can be a doer of an action. Let me construct an example. If I pick one of your names, for example, let's say Talha. For example, Talha is a great. Talha, for example, Talha eats an apple. Okay. Talha eats an apple. My question to you is, who eats an apple? Who eats an apple? Who is the doer of the action eat? The action, who did this action? Can you find that? Is that Talha? Yes, that's Talha. In this case, the doer of an action is Talha, which is a person and therefore an ism. Yes? Talha is a doer of an action. Taking the same example, detail about the action. Okay? Detail about the action. I'm going to remove this Talha highlight here. Now, what does Talha eat? What does Talha eat? What does Talha eat? Can you give me an answer here? What is the detail about the action that he has performed? What has Talha eaten? He has eaten an apple. Is apple an ism? Yes. It's an ism. Yes. But in the second case, it's acting as a detail of an action. Okay? It's a detail of an action. But in the first case, it's the ism is acting as a doer of an action, isn't it? So in these cases, the Talha is effectively, in the first example, is a subject that you know. Subject, right? In the second case, it's more of an object. I don't want to use the subject and object terminology. I'm just bringing this up because you may be familiar with this kind of terminology from English grammar. But effectively, what we're saying that an ism can be a doer of an action, and ism can also provide a detail about a certain action. Okay, can also provide a detail about a certain action, and we have done these two examples. Okay, and when we go further and we do more examples, it will become more and more clear, inshallah. Okay. Then let me pick another name from you. I say Talha eats an apple of which one should I pick? Harun, for example. Okay. Talha eats an apple of Harun. Okay. Now, what is Harun here? It's an ism, isn't it? Do you agree it's an ism? Is Harun an ism here? Yeah, it's an ism. I'm looking at this ism. Okay. In this case, this ism is coming after of. It's more of a possessive case, isn't it? It's a possessive case. Yes, it's a possessive case. But what you're looking at here is, in this case, if I just color code them so it looks also beautiful, so you don't get bored. Okay, so let me just, this detail is, let's say, green. An apple is green. Okay, and the word after off is, let's say, blue. You like blue color? Okay, I like blue color. Let's do blue. Okay, good. Now, it's a possessive case. Harun cannot be harf Talha because Harun is a name of a person. Okay, it's a name of a person. It directly falls into the definition of an ism. Okay, good. But what you're looking at three isms used in a sentence, but completely performing a different role. Status, I said, is status tells you what role an ism performs in a sentence. Yes, status, we just saw that here above. What role an ism plays in a sentence? Let me write it here as well. Okay, status tells what role an ism plays in a sentence. Okay. Okay. And to be honest, it cannot be just sentence. It could be a phrase or a phrase or a phrase or a fragment. Let me just call it fragment. Sentence or a fragment. Okay. So you have isms here. All of these are isms. Talha, Apple, and Harun. They are isms, but they're completely playing a different role. Now, if I just take this full sentence and if I color code everything, bring everything together, I say, okay, this is a sentence that we have, and I want to identify the doer of an action, the detail of an action, and the after of. So I would say apple is green. This is the detail of an action. Okay. Talha is the doer, which is yellow. Okay. Now, to identify the doer, you usually ask the question, who did that action? One of the tricks is you just take the action, for example, eats, and you put it in a question. Talha eats an apple. The question would be, who ate an apple? Who eats an apple? Okay, that will give you answer who is the doer of an action. Okay, in case of detail, you also use the same action, but you put it in a different type of question about what, how, when, for example. Talha eats an apple. The question would be, what did Talha eat? What did Talha eat? It will give you the detail of the action. Okay, it will give you the detail of the action. In the same way, when you have after of case, you don't really have a question, but it's very, very evident. It's a possessive case. Usually the word of in English is used to possess, show possession. So you see clearly that Harun is coming after of, so therefore it's a possessive case. Okay. Good. Are we clear with this? 3 types of statuses: doer, detail, and after off. Doer, detail, and after off. Okay? Give me one if we are clear with this. Give me one if we are clear with this. Okay? Good. Thank you, Radhia. Thank you, Harun. Yes. Very good, mashallah. Good. Excellent, Talha. Very good. Very good, very good, very good. Okay. Excellent. Very good. I'm going to give you 3 Arabic terminologies here. Okay. And you may not be able to retain them in the first class, but I can tell you in the next class and the class after, they will be rock hard stone in your brain. Okay. You will completely get them. So the doer of an action is called rafa. Rafa. Called rafa. Okay. It's called rafa. When the ism is doer of an action, we say this ism is rafa. Okay. We say ism is rafa. Okay. When the ism is detail of an action, we say it's nasab. We say it's nasab. Okay. And when the ism is after off, it's a word after off showing possession of some kind, we say it's jar. Jar. Okay. We say it's jar. Okay. Rafa, nasab, jar. Rafa, nasab, jar. Can you say that 5 times loudly, regardless how people around you think, what people around you think of you? Just say that loudly. Rafa, nasab, jar. Rafa, nasab, jar. Rafa, nasab, jar. Rafa, nasab, jar. Last time, Rafa, nasab, jar. Okay. So in our example, what is Talha? What is Talha? What is Talha in this example? Is it a Rafa or is it a nasab or is it a jar? What is Talha in this example? Okay. Is it Rafa, nasab, or jar? It's Rafa. Okay. It's a Rafa. It's a doer of an action. And we have apple. What is an apple in this case? Is it Rafa, nasab, or jar? Is it Rafa, nasab, or jar? Yeah, it's a nasab. It's a nasab. Correct. It's a nasab. And Harun is jar. Okay. Harun is jar. Okay. So the doer of an action is Rafa. The detail of an action is nasab. And the possession, the word after off, is jar. Okay. This is what you need to understand for now. Okay. For now, this is what you need to understand. I will give you a quick, tiny heads up, but inshallah, don't worry about that, and it will come later on. Ism is not always doer, okay? But for now, this is how we start the learning exercise. Ism is a doer for us today. Today, ism is a doer for us, but it may not always be a doer. We will learn that later on, okay? It's just like that. The jar status may not always be after off. It may be something different as well. Ism can be jar, but it may not be after off, may not be kind of possession. Okay, maybe something else. We will do that later on, inshallah, in this course. But right now, this is how you need to understand it. Okay, just bear with me. Okay, good. So I'm going to jump. I'm just conscious of time. We have a few minutes, and I want to jump into an exercise to clarify this to you. So let's go to your notes again, inshallah. Let's go to your notes again. Okay. And I'm on page number 2. Page number 2. Okay. In the page number 2, you're looking at few examples. Example number 1, a teacher entered the classroom. Teacher entered the classroom. Now the question is, who entered? Who entered? I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question. Who entered? Who entered? Okay. Who entered? Okay. And this question is going to give me an answer, which is teacher, isn't it? Who entered? The teacher. And I say teacher is Rafa. R represents Rafa. Okay. Teacher is Rafa. It's a doer of this action. Okay. Why do you think Talha, teacher is a jar? Why do you think it's a jar? So teacher cannot be a jar because it's not after off. Thank you, Sharani. You can go. Please do watch the recording, inshallah, to complete. We're almost closing, inshallah, in a few minutes. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, Talha. Thank you. I'm sure it was a mistyping. Yes. Yes. Teacher is Rafa, and then let's look at classroom. It's nasab. Let's look at classroom. It's nasab. Okay. Now, what you're asking here is, where did the teacher enter? Where did teacher enter? Okay. This where is going to give you the answer, which is a nasab. Okay. Classroom. Okay. Radia, something confusing you? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Why? And is it clear why teacher is Rafa and classroom is nasab? Let's look at more examples. It will become clear, inshallah. Okay, it will become clear, inshallah. Okay, so the next one, a student of his was sleeping soundly. A student of his was sleeping soundly. Who was sleeping? Who was sleeping? Student. Therefore, student is Rafa. Okay, okay. How was he sleeping? How was he sleeping? How was he sleeping? Gives you the detail, which is nasab. Yes? Okay. And now look at this relationship of his. This his is coming after of. And we saw that in the definition of ism, that ism of Arabic may also have pronouns. May also have pronouns in it. Okay? So therefore, because it's coming after of, therefore it's a jar status. J represents jar. Okay? A teacher threw a pencil. A teacher threw a pencil. Okay? Now, who threw a pencil? Who threw a pencil? A teacher. Therefore, it's a rafa. Forget this blue coloration of A. A is a harf. A is a harf. Okay? This is wrong. It should not be blue. Okay? What did teacher threw? What did teacher throw? Okay? What? The question we're asking is what? Okay? What did the teacher throw? It's a pencil. It gives you the detail of the action through. Okay? Therefore, it's nasab. And this last one, the teacher's student. This is interesting. Listen to me carefully on this. The teacher's student woke up suddenly. Okay? Teacher's student woke up suddenly. Question is, who woke up suddenly? Who woke up suddenly? Can you tell me who woke up suddenly? Yeah. The student. Okay? The student woke up suddenly, not the teacher, not the teacher. There's a relationship between teacher and student here. Okay? It's teacher's student. Can I write it like this? Can I write like this? The student of teacher. Can I write like this? The student of teacher woke up suddenly. Yes? This apostrophe S tells you This is a possessive relationship, isn't it? In this case, the of is hidden inside. You have to decode it. You have to decode it out. You rephrase it in your mind. You rephrase it. When you see teacher's student, you say, okay, it means student of teacher. And when you rephrase it like that, you know the teacher is coming after of. The teacher is coming after of. Therefore, you say, oh, it's jar. It's a jar status. Okay? Therefore, it's a jar status. You understand? You understand? And the next question is, how did the student wake? How did the student wake? Suddenly, which is a detail about the action. Okay? Which is a detail about the action. All right? Good. On the next page, we'll just close the class in 1-2 minutes. On the next page, there is an exercise. There's an exercise on page number 3. I would like you to give it a shot at home before you come to the class tomorrow. Before you come to the class tomorrow, try to do it. Let's do few in the class, 1 or 2 or 3 max, and then I'll leave you for today. And inshallah, we continue tomorrow. So let's look at the first one. My teacher drinks chocolate milk regularly. What do you think is the status of the word regularly? You have to do the ones highlighted. What is the status of the word regularly? Is it rafa, nasab, or jar? Is it rafa, nasab, or jar? How would you process it? First question, who drinks? Teacher drinks. Okay, so teacher is definitely a doer. Okay, how does he drink? Drinks regularly. Yes, it's nasab. Correct. Yes, Stella, very good. It's correct. Nasab. Okay, it gives you detail about the action. Okay, how does the teacher drink it? Regularly. Okay, this is nasab. Excellent. Okay, how about number 4? How about number 4? Let's look at number 4. He knows his children like it, but he doesn't share. He knows his children like it, but he doesn't share. What do you think is the status of children and his both? You need to find 2 statuses here. You need to find a status of children and his, of this one and this one. What is the status of these 2 words? What about his children? Think about it. He knows his children. Can you rephrase this somehow? Can I say, instead of his children, can I say children of his? I know it sounds a weird English, but for understanding purposes, can I break this in this form? Children of his. Correct. Correct. Yes, Khalid. Children of, let's use his because it's his here, but you're right. I understand what you mean. So children of his. So what would be the status of children and his? Let's start with the his. What is the status of his? Is it not rafa, nasab, or jar? Rafa, nasab, or jar? What is the status of his? Correct. It's jar. Very good. It's jar. What about the children? What about the children? Who knows about the children? He. So he is definitely a rafa. He's definitely a rafa. Okay. Okay. Who does he know about? Who does he know about? His children. Children, isn't it? Yes. It's nasab. It's a detail about the action knows. Okay. Correct. Yes, Talha, Khalid, Harun. Yes, that's great. Excellent. You get the crux, right? You know how to process this. Practice this. I don't want to solve it here completely. Spend some time solving this. It's just 10 sentences. Come back solved with this tomorrow, inshallah, and then we'll continue the class. Before I close it, let me just complete the chart that I was making, so you know. I think this is the file that I have. Yes. So what we are doing, we did the 3 types of word, and we said ism, fi'l, and harf. Then we picked up the ism, and we said ism has 4 properties: status, number, gender, type. And then we said the status can be of 3 types. Status can be of 3 types. It can be raf'a. I'll just write English. Nasab. Jar. Yes? Okay, this is what we did. That's what we have done. Okay. So your homework would be to spend time, do the exercise, inshallah, and I'll close the class for now, because just go home, inshallah, spend your time with this exercise. Do this exercise at home. Don't take it very lightly. If the knowledge is fresh, spend some time doing this exercise, inshallah, and things will become very clear. They will become very, very clear as you start practicing and doing this exercises again and again. Okay, this is just the first class, and I promised you that I'm going to show you something in the Quran, but then I decided in the middle of the class that let's stop now. Tomorrow, inshallah, I'll definitely show you something in the Quran, because there's another thing I need to tell you. Sorry about that for not showing you, but just bear with me. Come tomorrow energized, and inshallah I'll take it from there with you. And thank you very much for joining. Recording will be available, and you receive an email, hopefully, on recording and your course notes that I will put on the shared drive. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khairan. See you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.